Are you ready to get unstuck from your repetitive daily routine, tap into your mind and body's internal cues, and just discover the things in this world that will lead you to your life's greatest potential? Me too. I'm glad you're here today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Greatest Potench podcast. I am your host, Taylor, and today we are going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and just kind of doing a recap of my 2023. And with this being officially episode 2, I am still going to be in a little bit of intro mode just because the podcast is very new, and I want to make sure that we establish the right vibes right off the bat. So if I get a little bit into what I got into last episode about the mission of the podcast, what inspired me to do it, just bear with me. It is pretty relevant too, I feel like, to the discussion of New Year's resolutions and trying to improve yourself and all of that kind of topic, because that's what this podcast is all about, just trying to be the greatest version of myself. Also, complete disclaimer, this episode will also be filmed in my car. I know I talked about that in the last episode. I'm about literally sitting on the side of the road in my car recording. Same situation here, but thankfully, Sam, my boyfriend, actually got me a mic to record future episodes. So if all goes well, this will be the last episode I have to record in my car. So bear with me, there might be some road noise. I'm pretty close to an airport right now, so there might be some overhead ambiance, but hopefully it's not too distracting from the point of the episode. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So kind of the main inspiration for this topic, for this particular episode, came from my New Year's Day this year. So right now it is January 5th. It's been a full work week in this year, which any type A or calendar planning kind of person would understand how satisfying it was that 2024 started on a Monday. Like, what a clean, perfect start to a new year, just in my opinion. But anyways, back to the point. So today's Friday. It's been a full work week into the new year, and I had the craziest, almost spooky experience going into 2024, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But my main motivation for this episode was spending the entire day of the first just bumming out. I was sitting on the couch all day, playing my Animal Crossing, scrolling through social media, and obviously surrounded by a lot of the New Year's resolution content. Whether people are like, oh, I hate that, so silly, can't wait to see all the new gym people in there, the resolutioners, or whatever they call it. And then you see the other side of the page where it's like, I'm so excited to better myself this year, here's all my a billion goals, and I'm gonna do them, watch me go. And then you see some people like, my New Year's resolution is money, and that's it. And it's like, you get such a good mix. Like, I honestly love going on social media during like the holidays or big times of the year because, I don't know, I'm a person that enjoys social media and I get energized by it. It doesn't drag me down or make me feel bad about myself. Thankfully, I can enjoy social media in that way. But as I'm sitting there on the first, lazy as can be, having just a completely relaxing day with no responsibilities, I was thinking about my 2023 resolutions. And really, something unique I did in 2023, which I'd never done before, was I made a mood board, or a vision board, I guess would be the correct term. So rather than setting like one resolution for the year or a group of resolutions for the year, I did a literally cut and paste vision board. I will go back and forth between those terms the entire episode. I apologize in advance. But I did a cut and paste vision board of what I wanted my 2023 vibe to be. And I made it, of course, all girly and all cute and all very much Taylor vibes, which iconic being the year of Taylor Swift, but we'll get into that. It was different because going into 2023, I didn't have one solid, tangible goal. It wasn't like, oh, I want to go to the gym 3 days a week, every single week of the year. It wasn't, oh, I want to, make X amount of dollars this entire year throughout my career or anything like that. Like, it wasn't something I could write a resolution for. It wasn't something I could write a physical goal for. It was just kind of vibes and things I wanted to embody, improve upon, or kind of incorporate into my life. And the reason I did it this way was because moving back even another year of the experience I had in 2022. So 2022 was the year that I had first moved to Chicago. Well, very end of 2021, but basically same thing. It was the year I first moved to Chicago, the furthest I've ever lived away from my family and friends, and I was living with my boyfriend Sam, and it was a lot of firsts in every single aspect of my life. First full-time job, first everything. And my 2022, I did a lot. I was overindulging myself. I was overspending. I was over-socializing. I was overreacting. To put it simply, I was just overstimulated. To sum all these overs into one word, I was overstimulated, and I was just doing a lot, if not too much, in 2022. And I had a great time, like, I can't complain, but not the healthiest, not the most productive. And everyone has to go through a phase like that in new stages of life, and especially to have so many firsts and so many new things thrown at me in the same year. I can't blame myself, and I can't get upset that I did go a little off the rocker, if you will. But with that, I wanted my goal for 2023 to be being better. And as you heard in my first episode, that was a lot of what inspired me to create this podcast to begin with, because I knew I had more potential than what I was living currently. I knew that I had things that I could do better and things that I didn't even know about yet that I imagined could also be better. So I did a lot of introspection throughout the month of January in 2023, and I really pulled from a lot of the things that internally and like intuitively made me happy and made me feel good and just like gave me good vibes and energy. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this. I actually took the vision board that I made, took a photo of it, because like I said, I did like a pen and paper, like cut and paste, tangible, physical vision board. So I took a photo of it. I edited it up to be like a little cute, a little more aesthetic. And I posted it on Instagram. And I actually pinned it to my profile because, like I said, I spend a lot of time scrolling. I sometimes go onto my own page to stalk myself because, you know, who doesn't every once in a while? Or every more than once in a while, if you're me. And I pinned it on my profile so that anytime I was on Instagram, specifically on my own page, I would be forced to look at my vision board. And I think part of my success and why 2023 was so incredible and so almost life-changing, to be a little dramatic, was because I was constantly looking and constantly surrounded by the vision and the vibes that I wanted for that year. So I couldn't escape it, even if I wanted to. I would open my Instagram and be like, oh yeah, there's my water bottle right there in the middle of the vision board. I should probably drink water today instead of coffee, or in addition to coffee, or maybe I haven't even had any water at all. So how about I grab that bottle and I start sipping? So I think just being constantly surrounded by my vision made 2023 what it was. And so I'll get into kind of wrapping up my 2023 in a minute, but specifically what I wanted to talk about today was just like the perception of New Year's resolutions and kind of how there are these thoughts or responses or behaviors, I guess, if you will, around New Year's resolutions. So you're either one of two people, and I promise you're one of these two people. Or hey, maybe you fall in between. I'm not going to tell you who you are. But you're a person that every January you create a New Year's resolution and it feels like your life has changed. It's a new year, new me. You plan on making a big transformation, and you know what? Maybe you stick to that, maybe you don't, but that's one type of person that goes into the year with a big goal, a big dream, or maybe multiple big goals, big dreams, that you want to achieve them, you want to accomplish them, and you can write it down like in a sentence, like this is my goal, this is my dream. And then there's the other side of the page where I don't know if I fall on this side. I feel like I may fall a little bit in the middle, but if anything, I lean more to the big resolution setter. But this other side of people, they avoid resolutions at all costs. They think it's cheesy. They think it's corny. They're like, why would you set a big goal in January when you have the rest of the entire year to care about yourself and want to improve yourself? Like, oh, just because it's a new year, like, they're haters, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being a hater. Sometimes I'm a hater as well in different areas. But these people are just kind of anti-resolution. They feel like it's a temporary commitment that people make and promise to themselves to give the illusion that they want to be better, and then they never stick to it. So those are my two categories of people. And I ended my 2024 Oh my gosh, just kidding. It just turned 2024. At least I'm not going to write my dates wrong on the paper. Anyways, I ended my 2023 in a really unique way. So I was at a yoga class. I really wanted to get that last bit of movement in for the year before I, balled out at the New Year's party. So I went to a yoga class that was specifically titled Flow and Revive New Year's Manifestation. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm really struggling right now with how I want to set my 2024 goals because of how successful 2023 was. I was like, there's no way I can one-up myself here. Like, I already had arguably the best year of my entire life. How am I supposed to do better than that? So I'm in this yoga class, and it was a really cool practice that the teacher took us through. So toward the middle to end of class, I want to say, she handed us out little pieces of paper and pens. And there were 3 categories on this piece of paper, and I couldn't recite them all to you because I genuinely don't remember. It's only been a week, but has it been a week? So I think the first category was something that you want to maybe surround yourself with. I don't remember for sure. But she guided us through these 3 categories. And so she gave us little prompts, gave us kind of some inspiration. And for the first category, which I can't remember right now, I wrote down positivity. So it must have been something that you want to perceive or give off in the year. So I just want to always be a positive person, bring a lot of light and just good feelings to the people around me. I know there are some people who are just very strong-willed, and it might not always come off as the most positive, but one of my big goals for the year, according to this little exercise we were doing in yoga class, was I want to just embody positivity. I really want to be seen as a positive person, and if people are going through something negative, I want them to feel like they can come to me, and I will have a positive light on whatever it may be. Flowing off of that, I think the second category was, I think the example the teacher gave was, when I see Mary, I think of her as charismatic. Or if you're mentioning Sam, I think of him as hilarious or funny or whatever. So it was like, when I think of Taylor, I think of blank. And the word I put for that was comfort or comfortable, something like that. Because I really gravitate towards, 1, positive people, of course, but 2, just the people that make me feel like I can genuinely be myself in whatever the situation may be. There are a lot of times, especially in your post-graduation life or post-college or post-high school life, whatever that looks like for you, where you don't know who is the real ones in your life, or who are the real ones, I guess would be a better way to put it. And there's definitely those people that you can be your full self around, you let loose, you don't have any guardrails up, you don't have any boundaries there. And then you just have those people, and maybe they're an amazing friend, maybe they've been in your life forever, but you still don't feel like you can bring your entirely authentic, true self around that person. And that's okay. We need all kinds of relationships in our life, and those ones are great. But my goal in 2024 is, when people think of me, I want them to know and feel that no matter what they bring to the table, no matter what their viewpoints may be, no matter what they may practice or preach in their life, I genuinely see you as a human being, and that is what makes you so important. And I want you to feel safe to be truly and authentically yourself. And I say that, and that's one of my big goals, because I've met so many people like that since I moved to Chicago. And I have a lot of them that already existed in my, my growing up life with my family and friends. So finding that organically on my own as an adult, I really, really found myself gravitating toward those people and not spending as much time with the people that aren't that way. And there's nothing wrong with you if you aren't the comforting friend or if you're not the open-minded friend, but I really, really want to do my best to be that person for others, because those people make me feel whole. They make me feel truly and authentically myself, and I love that feeling. There's nothing like being in a room and just letting loose and being you. It's just very freeing, and I feel like that's how we're meant to live most of our life, just as our authentic selves. So that was my second. But when I tell you, the third category is the spooky part. Remember I alluded to this spooky, crazy New Year's thing that happened to me? That's where this comes in. So the third category on the card, I remember it because it has just resonated so much with me, was create. So the prompt that the teacher gave us was, what do you want to create? Or what is something missing currently in your life that you want to create and make it there for your 2024? Or maybe something that used to be there that you lost. What do you want to create for your life? And just instinctually, she said to go with your gut here. This is a yoga practice, so there were a lot of like emotions and just heart feelings kind of just in the room, in the body. And my first instinctual thought was to put down recognition. And this may sound a little cocky or a little like pick me energy, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. Throughout the past few years, I have done so much. I just do a lot. Like, that's just who I am. It's my nature. I'm more comfortable when I'm doing a lot than when I have nothing on my plate, which is fine. That's just who I am. And I recognize that. But sometimes, and for whatever reason that may be, whether it's my own communication style, whether it's the certain people I'm around, I feel that not the entire, I guess, aspect of the work I do or the things I achieve are recognized as they should be. So like an example of this would be maybe a work project that I'm working on that I put in so many hours behind the scenes, and I did a lot of digging and things that maybe are not typical and give my project or result that extra edge, but that's not the part that's praised. It's like, oh, beautiful slide decks, or oh, great idea, I can't wait to take this to XYZ. Whereas I wish that I had gotten praised on that extra insight or doing that extra digging to pull up a data point that people don't typically talk about. So that's just one example, but there's a lot of other aspects of my life that I feel I really want to create recognition for myself. And like I mentioned before, maybe that's me having to change the way I express my accomplishments, or the way I express myself, or the way I show up, or the way I am not afraid to be seen in a certain space. So that is really going to be a challenge for me, but I just kept resonating with that word recognition. And there's a pose or a position in yoga called savasana, and basically you're just allowed to lay back on your mat and just like be loose and free. And the goal in this position, from what I've gathered, I've only taken like 10 to 15 yoga classes, is that your thoughts should move out of your body and into your mind. Your brain should be focused on your thoughts and your hopes and your fears and whatever, rather than the sensations of your physical body. And I've done, like I said, maybe 10 to 15 yoga classes, and I love savasana. Like, it's very relaxing. Sometimes there's a really hard yoga class and I'm like, man, my muscles need a break, so I'm just gonna lay here. And that's great. Sometimes I almost fall asleep if it's super late or I'm tired for whatever reason. But this class, she like turned, the song switched right when we were like heading into this pose, and like the weirdest, creepiest, craziest thing happened. So I was laying there, and the ask was, while we're laying in this pose, resonate with the 3 words that you wrote down on your card and try to think about your life when you've already achieved them or when you already have them. And think about how your 2024 will look when you do these 3 things on the card, or when you embody these 3 things on the card. And yeah, the first 2 words on the card were great, and I really, really want to continue to embody them. But there was like this beat and like the humming in the music that she was playing. And I am not even kidding. The word recognition was like pulsing around my head in like a circle. It was crazy. I sound delusional saying this out loud, but like it was such a truly crazy and unique experience that I'd never seen before. And like the beat of the music, like every time the bass would go and then like the drum or whatever like percussion would hit, it was like another revolution of the word recognition around my brain. Like, this sounds so crazy, but I'm not even lying. I physically felt that word resonating in my brain, which was so weird, really creepy, but I felt really good about it. So anyways, during this yoga practice, she brings us out of our pose, she thanks us for class, we close out, we shake it off, and at the end, she asked that we just bring the pens back to like this little towel return station, I guess, at the front, where she was sitting at the desk. And like I said, 10 to 15 yoga classes in my entire life. I am by no means any more than like beginner level, okay? I love yoga, and it's kind of the same way that dance is for me, where I haven't been doing it a long time, but boy, do I love it. And I really want to be good at it. And I really want to truly embrace like what yoga is. Same way I do with dance. Like, I really want to appreciate the culture of dance, the history of dance, all the unique styles of dance that I didn't get exposed to. I want to do that with yoga. I want to understand the history. I want to understand the poses. I want to know what these words mean. Like, savasana, that is foreign, and it really is, but it's foreign to my brain in that same way. So that's where I'm at with my yoga journey. Definitely not, I don't think I'm any more than a beginner, but hey, that could be interpreted differently by whoever. With that being said, I go to return my marker or my pen or whatever, and the instructor looks at me and she was like, oh, thanks. Oh, by the way, and this is her words, great practice, girl. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I got giddy like a 5-year-old in a candy store. Like, my body just like filled up with so much bubbles and warmth. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. That means a lot. And I lifted it back because I was like, I don't need to get into my life story. Like, this is a yoga teacher. She has her own New Year's Eve plans. Like, we'll get over it. But I was so just like happy and excited, and I was like, oh my God, does this mean like I'm good at yoga? Like, no way, that's another goal checked off the list. But it didn't hit me until actually Tuesday, so December 2nd, not even New Year's Day. Still, I think back to when that word recognition was spinning around physically inside my brain, and I think now of this compliment that the yoga teacher gave me, and then I'm in a meeting with my boss that had no agenda. There was literally not a title. It was just like meeting with Taylor. And I was like, okay, cool. This could go anyway. And the meeting with my boss was basically him telling me, I think you're ready for the next step. Like, you need to now show others that you're ready for the next step. Like, I see what you're doing. I'm close to your work. But now let's get to a point where the people that really have pull in this enterprise also know what you're doing. And so they understand that you know the strategy and the reasons behind what you're doing. Because he sees it. My boss was like, I see it. You are doing it. But now let's make it visible. Let's show other people how good you are. It's basically how I interpreted it. These are not his words by any means. So don't twist that. But to me, it was, I see you. You're doing it. Let's show others. And it wasn't until after this meeting that I had that, oh my God moment, to the point of, that's recognition. The yoga teacher calling out that I had a good practice, that's recognition. My boss having a completely random, untitled meeting with me to tell me he sees me and that I'm doing great things, that's recognition. And those things happened 2 days in a row. Well, okay, 1 day separated, but very close back to back since the new year. And it's like, I feel like that connection I had with the word recognition in that yoga practice, maybe it was a little spooky, maybe it was a little weird, maybe I was lightheaded, maybe I just genuinely wasn't breathing and I felt like my head spinning or something. I don't know what it was, but it was very cool and very, it's still sitting with me, and I'm still just as in awe of it as I was in the moment. Like, that word is literally manifesting itself into my daily life, which is so cool. And I really don't think I've changed anything about my life. Like, I'm just living as I want to, and I'm living as the person I want to be, but like, I'm getting recognition out of nowhere. Like, it's crazy, and it's very special, and to me it's spooky, but I was so excited and inspired by like those two encounters. So now, rather than doing the vision board like I did in 2023, I've decided that I'm going to do a mantra this year rather than a resolution, or rather than a vision board, or rather than, I don't even know. I'm doing a mantra, and my mantra is just going to be recognition. And I think that if I have the same experience I did with my 2023, to where I'm constantly seeing my vision board, I'm constantly surrounded by it. Anytime I'm on social media or I have racing thoughts, I'm returned to the vision board at the end at least once a day. I want to do a very similar approach to that with the word recognition in 2024. And I think I've already started to embody this through my work or through other things, but I'm really excited. And I may not have a tangible resolution for 2024, but that's not to say that I'm not setting goals aside from this, and that I'm not like making plans to improve myself and things like that. So that's where I stand for this year. And I just wanted to give a little bit of a recap of last year, especially because this podcast is all about growth and the journey and the exploration of how to just find my greatest potential. So I just wanted to do a very brief recap of how my 2023 went, some of my big goals, and how they all played out. And like I said, maybe a little bit earlier, 2023 might have been, don't put this on the record, I might be wrong, but it might have been one of, if not the best year of my life so far. And I think, one, life happens, so there's only so much we can control. But two, I genuinely think that my vision I set for myself was inspired by like my intuition and like what I truly, truly want in life. And that was just so cool to see it play out. So I'll just kind of get into my vision board. It's very aesthetic and cute. If you want to look at it physically, you can go to my Instagram. It's Taylor Hayes with Z instead of the S in Hayes. And there's 2 Z's. Kind of complicated. I'll have it in the description. But on this vision board, kind of the themes that I was going for was just embracing my city, embracing the nature, really taking the chance to soak it all in. I really wanted to focus on family and memories and living in experiences rather than like watching them go by. I had a really high emphasis on like my physical health and my physical body and just kind of like my well-being physically. What else did I have on here? Oh, I had a lot of goals surrounding dance, so that was really cool. And then I just threw some silly stuff on there. Like I threw a picture of money on there because like why not? I gotta I gotta manifest that money, right? I also had like a picture of which is controversial, but I included a photo of a girl like cooking in the kitchen because I just wanted to cook more in 2023. Like I just wanted to make some cool meals for myself, and I really didn't grow up cooking, honestly, ever. I would like bake cookies and turn on the mixer and the KitchenAid, but I really didn't ever prepare meals as a child or a teen or even in college. So that was just something I wanted to explore this year. I had, like I mentioned before, a picture of my water bottle in the middle of the page just to remind myself to drink water, stay hydrated, treat my body well. And then, oh, this one was cool. And before I get into everything else, I want to touch on this specifically because it's also a little spooky. So I included a female symbol on here. So it's like the circle with the plus sign at the bottom. And my intention with that was just to actually tie it back to work. There's this organization I'm a part of called Women in Sales Network. And it's like an ERG, just a place for employees to find like a group of like-minded individuals, find support, find resources, things like that. And I just wanted to become more involved in that organization. But I didn't want to just like screenshot a picture of my work org and put it on my beautiful aesthetic vision board. So I just stuck with the female symbol. But like when we think back on 2023, was this not one of the most empowering years for women aside from, you know, all the legislative stuff that happened? Well, we could get into that, but we won't. But like the Barbie movie, hello, like the highest grossing, I think, movie in the nation, if not the world this year, was all about the perspective of a woman in the typical American society. Like that is dope. Like women are being represented as they truly are and from our point of view on mainstream, incredibly mainstream media. Like that was so cool to see. And like the main character of a movie is just this empowered girl, and it just it made me really think about how I felt as a girl and the things that just made me purely happy and joyful. And it was just so special to have the Barbie movie just as a presence from the middle of 2023 and on, because it was, and even the lead up to it, even the promotional materials, like just surrounding the media and the world with, I don't even know if this was worldwide, maybe the US, I don't know for sure, but just surrounding it with that positive female radiance. Like it was just so cool. I love the Barbie movie. Big fan. Also, the Renaissance and Eras tours, like reverting back to that thing about like what felt good to me as a girl, like just playing dress up, feeling pretty, putting on my sparkles and my pink and like getting cute and all dressed up and listening to my favorite artists. Like that is so girl. Like that is just girlhood at its finest. And for two of the biggest names in pop right now, and if not media in general, like Beyonce and Taylor Swift, to have created that perfect environment to where all of these girls feel safe, all of these women feel safe to show up as they truly are in their authentic self, in their sparkles and their sequins and their feathers and their silver and their hot pink. Like it was just so special to be in that environment. And I literally bawled. I went to the Eras tour, was probably like 20 rows back from the literal highest seat in the stadium, and I bawled my eyes out. Like being in that environment was so empowering and so special. Like it just really truly made me feel proud and happy and safe to be a girl and be a woman. And it was just so very cool, very unique. There were a couple other things that happened throughout the year regarding like the female symbol on my vision board. There was like a very special conference I got invited to. I was one of two people at my level in the company, like from my section, to get invited, and I was so honored to have been chosen and to have been considered. But like I saw the female experience in a completely different light, and it was very cool and so special. And like I will never forget the feelings I felt then. I wish I had journaled them more because oh my gosh, like it was chilling, it was tear-inducing, it was crazy. But anyway, to hop off of this tangent to get back into just the general vibes, there was one quote on my vision board I want to touch on because I feel like it generally encompasses my entire 2023 and the reason I feel that 2023 was such a huge success. And this quote is so cheesy, but it says, "Don't wish for it, work for it." And I think that the resolution haters that I mentioned at the beginning, they are people that see goals and see self-improvement as work, as you should. I think that if you're going to set goals for yourself, you can't just want it. You have to change your lifestyle and take the steps to get it. You have to work for it. Wishing for it is great. You can write mantras down all you want. You can physically manifest by saying that you already have this thing. But if you don't take the steps to genuinely achieve XYZ, you're just not going to do it. And I understand why the resolution haters feel that way when so many people set these resolutions for themselves that maybe are unrealistic or maybe are impossible in some instances, which is not a bad thing, but it is a thing. So I get it. But also, I feel like those who do set resolutions would benefit a lot from hearing this, in the point that it's so great to have these wishes and these dreams and these goals, but you got to put in the work. And I think for myself, looking at, this picture of the girl doing yoga on the page, the picture of the Oak Street Beach, like the picture of Lincoln Park, like I just have, not the band, disclaimer, Lincoln Park in Chicago. Like I truly took the steps every single day, even on my bad days. I took the steps to do this. I would walk over to the beach, even if I was tired, even if I didn't want to go to the beach, just because I live by a beach. Like, how many people can say that they live in a high rise and also are a 5-minute walk from the beach? That's so special and rare and cool. And I wanted to take advantage of it. And I didn't just wish that I could go to the beach. I didn't just think about the beach. I didn't just take pictures of the beach. I went to the beach. I took the steps physically. I walked my feet along the road to the beach. And same with like Lincoln Park, same with like, I have a picture of a dancer on here. I have a picture of like a camera, and like, I just took the physical steps I needed to take to be a better dancer. I took more class. I took more critique. I reached out to the Chicago dance community seeking advice on how I improve my dance career. Like, I went to one of my best friends in Chicago who was the president of the photography club in college to ask her for advice and ask if I could join her on a photo shoot so I could learn how to use my camera more and how to take in those memories and things like that. So I had an amazing 2023. Like, I cannot repeat that statement enough. I don't know how I can go up from here, but I'm certainly going to try. And I think that one of my biggest lessons I learned over 2023, and even since I recorded the first episode of this, is that I have a lot of big hopes and dreams. I really do. And I hope everyone does. I hope that you're at a place in your life where you're very content and comfortable, but you also never stop wanting and dreaming and wishing, Like, I think that's very special to be able to do. Wow, big tangent. But what I was going to say was, I really hope that I can continue to embrace my journey and my growth and my exploration of my greatest potential the same way that I did in 2023. I saw a year of unbelievable growth, unbelievable things that happened to me and that my family dealt with and that we overcame. And life looks so different on January 5th, 2024 than it did on January 5th, 2023. Like, almost unrecognizably different in certain aspects of my life. But the people that I love and the people that I've met and just my internal conversations that I have with myself have been so healthy and so supportive. And I genuinely could not one up this year if I tried. Like, I truly feel that if you're a resolution setter or not, if you're a resolution lover or a hater, that's your prerogative. But I really, really hope that my experience from 2023 and the way that I approached my goals last year will bring you just like maybe even the tiniest ounce of inspiration to try something that you heard for yourself. Whether that be goal setting, whether that be a vision board, whether that's just surrounding yourself with the things you want constantly so you can't avoid it. Whatever that looks like for you, I really encourage you to try it, because a fancy New Year's resolution is one thing, but like, what can you control in your life and what can't you control? And how can you use those controllables to make your life look the way you want? I don't know. I'm still figuring it out, but I think I did a really good job in 2023, and I'm super excited to continue that work this year. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you got a little bit out of this episode, or if not, you just learned a little bit more about my experience and my hot takes on New Year's resolutions. So looking forward to entering 2024 with you. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.